guys, I'm Caroline Laborde from Money Mindset Accelerator, and I hope you're having an awesome day. Today, I'm going to talk to you about how you can identify your money blocks. Now, if you've watched any of my previous videos, I've been explaining what money blocks are, and there are many different types of money blocks, but today I'm going to focus on a very specific type of money block, and that is your self-limiting beliefs around your income, and in particular, your income goals. And when you have money blocks, what happens as a result is that you actually find ways to self-sabotage. So you might start out with really ambitious goals with a lot of energy, and you're kind of powering full steam ahead towards your goal, but then you start to find ways to trip yourself up. So maybe it's by not completing things, or half doing things, or not following up your leads, or just finding ways or excuses to kind of back out of things before you do them fully. And so when you get in that mode, things really start to feel like a struggle. It's like this constant uphill battle. And when you get into that mode, your energy changes and you start to really focus on what's hard rather than seeing opportunities around you. And the net result of all of that is that you start to not take action, because even though you know that action is going to be the best thing that you can do, it all feels so hard and so draining. And so it's no surprise that when you get into that mode, sometimes you'll just kind of back out of it all and just stop doing everything for a while, and then you'll sit there and go, well, no wonder I didn't shift the needle this month, no wonder my business isn't moving ahead. And so that kind of behavior, so that cycle, that pattern, is often driven by money blocks that you have around the particular thing that you're trying to achieve. And some of you might be familiar with this kind of experience, and when you're at your peak in this kind of zone, then you start to recognize the signs of a really bad day. So you might know what a really bad day looks like for you, and you might find that this is a recurring pattern. And if you don't know, if it's not something that's familiar, then I want you to start to notice what those bad days feel like. Or if you reach periods where you're not achieving the results that you want, then try to reverse engineer that and work out, well, what happened, how did I spend my time, and what are the emotions that I went through, what was the emotional process. And the thing is, when you're in that mode as well, so when you are being driven by those money blocks, you're operating in this state of conflict, because part of you really wants the goal that you're going after, but then there's another part of you that doesn't really believe that you can do it. And so it's like you're fighting this internal battle, and what's going on there is that your conscious mind is saying, hey, I absolutely want this, but your subconscious mind is saying, well, I don't really believe that you can do it. And so you've kind of got this constant pull in opposite directions that is stopping you from taking effective action. And so the tricky part to all of this is that even though you might relate to feeling like this sometimes, it's actually really hard to pinpoint your self-limiting beliefs. So as I've mentioned in previous videos, we almost don't quite have the language to articulate what it is that we're experiencing and feeling when it comes to those self-limiting beliefs, and in particular money blocks. And so what I want to show you in this video is a quick exercise that you can do that will tell you whether you have money blocks, and you'll start to be able to get familiar with the emotions or the thoughts that are surrounding those money blocks. And so what I'll do is just get you to do an exercise with me now. So I want you to think about a goal that you have. So in particular, I want it to be an income goal. So if you're an entrepreneur, I want you to think about, that number that you've been shooting for that maybe, you haven't quite hit. So, for a lot of people, like if you're new, it might be $5,000 a month, or if you've hit that level, it might be 10,000, you might be shooting for 20. So whatever it is for you, I just want you to take a quick moment to think of what that is. You might even find it helps to, close your eyes and just visualize that number, and it should jump out at you. Okay, so once you've got that number, what I want you to do is to actually close your eyes now if you haven't done that already. I want you to really visualize that number. And now I want you to double it. So if it was 10,000 before, it's now 20,000. And so I'm going to set that as your income goal and say, okay, well, we're going to raise the bar, whatever you set below. I'm going to say that was too low. And so your income goal for the next month is going to be 20,000 or whatever that number is for you. So as I've said that to you, I want you to start to take note of your reaction. So, how does that feel? Does it feel, ridiculous, like out of your reach? Are you maybe feeling a little angry at me for changing your income goal because you were already really committed to the number that you chose? So whatever it is, we're going to sort of extract what's going on there. And what I want you to do is just to close your eyes again for a minute and picture that number that I just doubled. And I want you to picture that number and say the words, "It's impossible." Okay, so on 3, just close your eyes and say that with me. So 3, 2, 1, it's impossible. So really just picturing that number. And now what I want you to do is to think about how true that statement felt for you. So how impossible is that income goal that I just doubled for you? And a way to measure that is you can rate yourself out of 10. So, 0 would be, hey, yeah, piece of cake, I can blitz it. And 10 would be, yeah, that feels pretty bloody impossible. There's just no way in hell I could get to that number next month. So just give yourself a score out of 10 on that number. Now, the thing is, so the sort of simple diagnosis there is that if you've got, any number above 1, then quite simply what you're admitting there is that you do have money blocks. So, that number is triggering something within you that's telling you that it is impossible for you. And, to what degree is revealed by the extent of the number that you've chosen. So obviously 10 means that it feels really impossible for you. And so you have a lot more money blocks around that number. Now, the score is sort of the starting point. What we actually want to get to is, well, what's behind that? So what are you actually feeling? And it's not always immediately obvious. So what I want you to note is, okay, when you said that, it was impossible and you gave yourself a score, even just thinking about that now, like, what are you actually feeling? Do you feel it anywhere in your body? Like for some people, that might just feel like, tension in your stomach. You might even feel sick. For other people, it can be tightness in the chest. Some people get headaches from thinking about money. So it's usually a pattern for people. So it might be a feeling that's quite familiar to you, but just take note of where you might be feeling that in your body. And then what we want to do is to start to get familiar with and name whatever that emotion or thought is. And so one way that you can get to that quite quickly is to actually just find your collarbone point, which is sort of just this bit here under your collarbone. It sort of dips a little bit and it's sort of this soft squishy bit. And you can just take a couple of fingers and just start to tap on that point. And so that's one of your acupressure points. And what that does is it just starts to stimulate feelings within the nervous system. And so if you just tap on that point, you should start to, physically feel that you're sort of engaging this flow of energy. And if you close your eyes while you tap that point, you should be able to start to feel, where you're feeling something physical in the body. So for me personally, the first spot that emotions rush to when I have a reaction to something is my stomach. And so just by doing that, I can start to feel, some feelings getting triggered. And so just take note of what it is for you. And then as you're doing that, think about, well, what feeling is that bringing up? So when you said the words, "it's impossible," what did that bring up for you? Now, it can range from anything from sadness, like you might feel really sad and disappointed that you haven't hit that number yet and that, it really is out of reach for you. Or you might feel really angry. You might feel like, man, I've been shooting at this for so long and I'm actually just really pissed off that I haven't gotten there yet and I'm frustrated. So, there can be this whole spectrum of emotions. So just tap on that collarbone point and take note of what that feeling is for you. So that should start to give you some insight around what your primary emotion is around money and in particular, your income goals. And so what's interesting about this exercise is that A, it lets you know that, you have money blocks and to what extent, but B, it starts to help you to really name that primary money emotion. So something that may have been quite hard to do before that might not have been immediately obvious, you can now start to, identify more clearly, and you can actually name it. And when we can name it, then we've got something really tangible that we can start to work with, and we can really specifically start to clear that sadness or that anger, because we actually clear them in similar ways, but in slightly different ways as well. And so you really want to get to the root of what it is that you're feeling, because that's specifically what you want to clear. And the interesting thing behind all of that is, whatever that primary feeling is for you, it's not a new feeling. It's actually not even really to do with your income goal. It's like a stored emotion that's been kind of running through your nervous system for a really long time, and it just gets triggered by your interaction with money. But that's something that I will help you work through in a future video. So if you found that exercise useful, if that brought anything up for you, please leave me a comment below and let me know what kind of a reaction you had, or if that triggered anything for you. And I'd be really interested to know if that was, like, on any level a new experience, or if you were already really familiar with what your emotions were around money. So that's it for today's video. In my next video, I'm actually going to talk to you about where these money blocks come from. So where your self-limiting beliefs come from, and how they got formed in the first place. So stay tuned for that. I am Caroline Labor. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a fabulous day. Bye for now.